and turn to today's bell chant is on page 14, the full one. Bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, the method of the full awareness of breathing, if developed and practiced continuously, will bring great rewards and advantages. It will lead to success in practicing the four establishments of mindfulness and the seven factors of awakening, which will give rise to understanding and liberation. One practices as follows: the first breath, breathing in a long breath. I know I am breathing in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath. I know that I am breathing out a long breath. The second breath, breathing in a short breath. I know that I am breathing in a short breath. Breathing out a short breath. I know that I am breathing out a short breath. These two breaths enable you to cut through forgetfulness and unnecessary thinking, and at the same time giving rise to mindfulness, enabling you to encounter life in the present moment. Forgetfulness is the absence of mindfulness. Breathing with awareness enables us to return to ourselves and to life. The third breath, breathing in, I am aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my whole body. This breath enables you to contemplate the body and be in direct contact with your own body. Awareness of the whole body and awareness of every part of the body allows you to see the wondrous presence of your body and the process of birth and death unfolding in your body. The fourth breath, I am breathing in and making my whole body calm and at peace. I am breathing out and making my whole body calm and at peace. This breath helps you realize calmness and peace in the body and arrive at a state in which mind, body, and breath are all one harmonious whole. The fifth breath, I am breathing in and feeling joyful. I am breathing out and feeling joyful. The sixth breath, I am breathing in and feeling happy. I am breathing out and feeling happy. With these two breaths, you cross into the domain of feelings. These two breaths create peace and joy, which can nourish mind and body. Thanks to the cessation of dispersion and forgetfulness, you return to yourself aware of the present moment. Happiness and joy arise within you. You dwell in the wonders of life, able to taste the peace and joy of mindfulness brings. Thanks to this encounter with the wonders of life, you're able to transform neutral feelings into pleasant feelings. These two breaths thus lead to pleasant feelings. The seventh breath, I am breathing in and aware of the activities of the mind within me. I am breathing out and aware of the activities of the mind in me. Eighth breath, I am breathing in and making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. I am breathing out and making the activities of the mind in me calm and at peace. These two breaths enable you to look deeply at all the feelings arising within you, whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral, and enable you to make those feelings calm and at peace. The activities of mind means, in this case, the feelings. When you are aware of your feelings and can see deeply into their roots in nature, you can control them and make them calm and at peace, even though they may be unpleasant thoughts which arise from desire, anger, or jealousy. The ninth breath, I am breathing in and aware of my mind. I am breathing out and I am aware of my mind. The 10th breath. I am breathing in and making my mind happy and at peace. I am breathing out and making my mind happy and at peace. The 11th breath. I am breathing in and concentrating my mind. I am breathing out and concentrating my mind. The 12th breath. I am breathing in and liberating my mind. I am breathing out and liberating my mind. With these 4 breaths, you pass into the 3rd domain, which is mind. The 9th breath enables you to recognize all the states of mind, such as perceptions, thinking, discrimination, happiness, sadness, and doubt. You recognize and observe these states in order to see deeply into the mind's activities. When the mind activities are observed and recognized, you are able to concentrate your mind, making it quiet and at peace. This is brought about by the 10th and 11th breaths. The 12th breath enables you to release all the obstacles of mind. Thanks to illuminating your mind, you can see the roots of all mental formations and thus overcome all obstacles. The 13th breath. I am breathing in and observing the impermanent nature of all dharmas. I am breathing out and observing the impermanent nature of all dharmas. The 14th breath. I am breathing in and observing the fading of all dharmas. I am breathing out and observing the fading of all dharmas. The 15th breath. I am breathing in and contemplating liberation. I am breathing out and contemplating liberation. The 16th breath. I am breathing in and contemplating letting go. I am breathing out and contemplating letting go. With these 4 breaths, the practitioner passes into the domain of objects of mind and concentrates the mind in order to observe the true nature of all Dharma. First is the observation of the impermanent nature of all Dharmas. Because all Dharmas are impermanent, they must all fade. When you clearly understand the impermanent nature and fading nature of all dharmas, you are no longer bound by the endless cycle of birth and death. Thanks to that, you can let go and obtain liberation. Letting go does not mean disdaining or runawaying from life. Letting go means letting go of craving and clinging so you do not suffer from the endless cycle of birth and death to which all dharmas are subject. Once you let go and attain liberation, you can live in peace and joy in the very midst of life. There is no longer anything which can bind you. So taught the Buddha how to observe deeply the body, feelings, and mind and objects of mind through the 16 methods of conscious breathing. He also applied the 16 exercises to practicing the 7 factors of awakening, which are full attention, investigating dharmas, and get energy, joy, ease, concentration, and letting go. And we bow. Please join us in noble silence until service begins at 10 o'clock.
I'd like to invite up our incense offerers. Would anybody like to volunteer to light our incense today? And inside of your booklet, we are going to chant the incense gatha together. And that will be on page 2. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. And we bow. Good morning, everyone. Happy winter solstice. Few courtesy announcements. First of all, is this anybody's first time at the temple? Awesome. Welcome. Glad you're here. So, hi. Couple courtesy announcements. If you need to use the restroom, they're just behind these curtains. There's also one downstairs. If you need a drink of water, we usually have cups and water at the entrance, but there's also cups and water downstairs. If you find that you need a break, or if you find that you're sitting in a cushion and you're like, I don't know if I could be sitting here much longer, please feel free to take a chair. This is not about forcing you into something that is uncomfortable. We want you to be able to hear the message that's being said today. We ask that you don't walk across the front of the dais because we are streaming live online. And if you're under the age of, I don't know, I guess it's for anyone really. If you feel like playing with toys downstairs, there's those downstairs. We also have a library, which has a selection of books that go from adult books all the way to children's books. So if you find that you just need some space, please make your way downstairs. I think those are all my announcements, my courtesy announcements anyway. Oh yeah, so when we're chanting, that's the last one. When we're chanting, like, try not to just, if you've been here a while and you know the chants pretty well and it feels kind of like, I'm just saying the words because this is what we do at temple, like, try to challenge yourself to change how you're seeing the words today and see if you can look at them just a little differently. See if you can listen to a verse, or when you're reading a verse or chanting a verse, like, read it a little differently. Maybe even say it a little differently, because we get so used to just chanting the same thing over and over again, and we think, yeah, I got it. But really, there's so much wisdom in these chants, and just, be mindful while you're doing it. So we're going to go ahead and stand up and greet each other silently. And on your booklets on page 3, we are going to chant the 3 refuges together. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning, and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. And we bow. And on the next page, you'll see the Heart Sutra, and we'll chant that together. Upbeat, find life in this. We are living this. Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva offering compassion from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita, perceive the emptiness of all 5 skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight. No realm of consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance. No old age and death, nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering. No cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any elusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant, fearless mantra, the utmost supreme mantra, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, para gate, Samgate Bodhiswaha. Dharma Prajna Paramita Vedaya Sutra. Before you take a seat, in my tradition, before I teach, I prostrate. Prostrating is a representation of humility and a way of honoring the teachings. So when I'm speaking any words that I'm coming from a place of pure intention. And if you have a prostration practice, you're welcome to join. I just ask that you wait to sit down until I speak myself, and I'm going to sit on that. All right. Good morning, everyone. It has been a long, or what feels like a long time since I've sat on the dais and had an opportunity to share some Dharma, which was a needed rest, but I also missed it. So I missed being in community with all of you. I've been with the temple since about 2020. My name is Z. A lot of people here know me as Igye. That was the first Dharma name given to me here at the temple. I do have another Dharma name, but that Dharma name is secret to me in the tradition that I study in now. Our Dharma names are meant to be something that we are intentionally and personally living up to. So it's not generally something we share with others. So please feel free to call me Z or Igye, whatever comes more naturally. So I took about 3 months off and I was not resting. My life was very busy this fall. I'm also an Irish dancing teacher in my not Dharma life. I own a studio here in Grand Rapids, and I teach Irish dancing to people, competitive Irish dancing. I'm a certified teacher with CLRG, which is a commission or one of the oldest Irish dancing commissions in the world. My father's originally from Dublin, Ireland. That's that connection. I'm actually originally from California. I'm not from Grand Rapids, but my mom is. So I did grow up visiting here once every 10 years. So for me, the snow is I love it when it snows. And I know there's two camps here. Either people are like, oh, heck no, my goodness, when will this end? Is spring here yet? And then there's the other camp, which is like me, where we're like, oh, it's snowing. Yes, this is so cool. So for me growing up, I visited the snow. And when I told people that when I first moved to Michigan, I got a lot of eyebrow raises. What do you mean you visited the snow? You didn't live in it? I'm like, no, I didn't live in it. I got to go visit it. There was actually one time when I was a kid, we went to visit the snow and I didn't wear socks in my boots. And my mom, being a Grand Rapids native, having grown up in the snow, was like, what the heck are you doing, girl? I'm like, I don't know. You told me to get dressed. I probably would have chosen flip-flops. So anyway, so I've been doing a lot these past 3 months. My students had their regional championships that's where they work on qualifying for our national and our world events, which if you're interested in seeing the highest caliber of Irish dancing possible, the world championships are actually being held in Chicago this year. Usually they're in Ireland or England or somewhere else in the world. So if you're interested, let me know. They were also preparing for a Christmas show at the same time. Anybody heard of Hark Up? Okay. Hark Up is this, it's a Christian organization, and they do a lot of music, and they have a big band, and they do this huge show every year. They have an opera singer come out. It's we perform, they hire us to come in and perform. There's dancing, singing, jingle bells, Jesus Christ, lots of stuff. And it's a lot of work because we basically spend, 3 months in the studio preparing for that, as well as 3 months in the studio preparing for our regional championships. So not only do my weekdays go to working and teaching kids Irish dancing, but then all of a sudden my weekends also become teaching Irish dancing. And I'm also a mom to 2 kids, 3 and 5, 2 little girls, one who started kindergarten this year. So that was also a whole other new adjustment for both of them, because my 3-year-old's like, where the heck's my big sister? And I'm like, sorry, girl, she's going to school. And she's like, wait, so who's going to play with me? And I'm like, I got to do the dishes and some laundry. So, so it's been quite an adjustment for everyone, including my husband, who basically is like, see you in the morning and see you when you get home, because we work off opposite schedules. I'm teaching Irish dance, kids are in school all day. So I work in the evening. So my life is pretty busy. On top of that, I study Dharma pretty frequently with the group that I study. My teacher is in New York, so I'm often studying online with them. And that's usually 2 to 3 days out of the week. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon, sometimes it's playing catch up. And I also serve and volunteer with them. So my life is very compartmentalized. And you can probably already get where I'm going with this, that rest is really important. And you can probably see that I haven't really built it into my schedule. So with it being the winter solstice, it's the exact opposite to the summer solstice, right? So if you think about the winter solstice, it's usually thought of as this turning point at the time of the year. When we're at our deepest point, the sun's the furthest away, it's the shortest day of the year, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, so the days get longer now, right? We're going to start seeing the sun out a little bit longer. It's not going to get warmer yet, but maybe in a couple months we'll see some of that, right? But the trees are starting to prepare their blooms for spring. The bulbs are, sleeping. The animals are hibernating. Like, this is the time for rest. And so it's like nature is reflecting this really important insight, which is that we cannot stabilize without rest, right? The earth cannot just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. It needs rest. And while we experience like a very cold rest in this part of the world, in other parts of the world, it's like they experience the rainy season. Or like in Australia, where my teacher is right now, like, for them it's summer. And when we're experiencing summer, they're experiencing their version of winter, right? So for many of us, especially in the Western world, and those who have lives just as busy as mine, which I'm pretty sure is like 99.9% of us, it can feel like we're always used to being busy, being on the go, always moving, always, always, always moving. And rest can actually feel kind of uncomfortable. It can feel like a waste of time. It can feel like there's always something that needs to be done. Why should I be resting right now? So it can be easy to think of rest as like avoiding responsibility. Like rest equates to me not doing enough, me not being enough. But really, rest is honoring our capacity to honoring the necessity to restore our capacity. Okay. And so if the earth teaches us anything, it's that rest is functional, right? So my mom has this really awesome expression, and it's become one of my favorites. Oftentimes when our life gets so busy and a lot of people, things, chores are demanding our attention, it can feel like you're being nibbled to death by ducks. Right? Or eaten alive by piranhas is another one. Right? That feeling of just like everything, especially this time of year, like right before the holidays, or if you're in the holidays, it can really feel like a lot, right? And so when things start to feel like that, I start to very clearly see where my practice needs work. But it isn't going to be by pushing harder or by doing more. It's really going to be by taking a step back and like honoring that rest. And so in Buddhism, we're taught that it's important to break our negative habits, right? And so in order to do that, we first have to be able to interrupt them, right? So it's like when you're caught by that moment of anger, and I mean, we've all been there, like, that the anger's there, but you aren't aware of how to stop it. It's just there. You're caught by it. Words are said. Maybe even, other things are happening. Like there might be actions taken, right? So we're caught by it in that moment. But if anything that meditation teaches us, seeing that it's a tool, and especially the meditation tools taught by Master Kamalashila, one of the antidotes to forgetfulness, which is what happens when we're caught by those negative emotions, what's the opposite of forgetfulness? Remembering? Feels obvious, right? Like, oh, yeah, it's just remembering, right? Like when you forget something, what do you need to do to fix it? You have to remember it. You forgot the laundry and it's been sitting in the washing machine for 2 days. Oh, what's that smell? Oh, I remembered now. Okay, like it's remembering, right? And so what we're doing is we're building in that practice. That's what meditation teaches us to do. It teaches us to remember, right? To remember to come back to the present moment. So when you start feeling that anger coming up, or those negative emotions coming up, or that desire to fix something coming up, maybe it wouldn't hurt to just go, whoa, to react to this maybe I can take a step back. It's like when you get an email from somebody and it really annoys you, or maybe makes you a little angry or irritated, and all you want to do is write back and respond instantly, or maybe it's a text. Okay. And then all of a sudden you send that text and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Right. I know, you're relatable, right? It's learning how to, as soon as you know and see that you're starting to just go hard on that keyboard, right? You're going, oh, I don't have to click send yet. And maybe I should take a step back, right? And just really sit with what's being said to me, sit with what I'm experiencing. So anger shows us where patience is undeveloped, right? Greed shows us where our generosity needs work. And jealousy shows us where our comparison is still operating, right? So there's all these negative afflictions that can really point us and become teachers to us as to where our work needs to be done. If you don't take the time to rest, you're not taking the time to learn how to interrupt those habits, right? So that's why rest is so important. Rest is literally a tool for reset. And so be able to go, yes, right. All that really heaviness that I can feel when I'm around family members I'm not around very often, or when I'm up against a situation that feels out of my control, I can come back to rest. And there's small tools that we can use, and one of them I'm going to give you today. So in the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha teaches us that intention is karma. Okay. Now, karma means movement of the mind and what follows. Okay. It's nothing more than that. It's not, that guy will get what's coming to him, right? It's not like that. It really is more of like your intention. Okay. So it's really more of what seeds are you planting. And then if you're planting those seeds, unless you learn how to irradiate them, will they fruit in the future? Yeah, they will. Okay. If you practice getting angry, you're going to get really good at getting angry, right? So the next time a situation comes up, you are much more likely to get angry unless you have a practice that helps you interrupt those things. So rest gives us the space to strengthen virtuous intention by interrupting that harmful momentum. So the Buddha often taught in terms of causes and conditions. Right? This comes from the teachings of the 12 links of dependent origination. And in the Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha teaches that suffering depends on conditions. And when conditions are removed, the cycle weakens. Okay? And so I want you to think of that seed, right? And a seed dropped onto concrete. Will it grow? Probably not, right? Probably not. It's going to have a hard time. Why? Because the conditions aren't there. Okay. The conditions are not there for it to grow. So what are the conditions necessary for a seed to grow? You got it? You got some? Nice. You got it. Right. So we have conditions that are necessary in order for that seed to sprout. Right. So conditions are what feed the momentum or progress of something. Okay. So if you know your conditions in your mind are, I'm hungry now, and when I'm hungry, I'm way easier to get angry. If you're like my husband, who likes to get angry, it's like, oh, he forgot to eat. Got it. Feed him. Those are the conditions that are like, he's going to be irritated, and I get it. I've been there too. Although for me, I forget to eat. And then I'm like, I just keep going. And I'm like tired later. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to eat. Right. So the conditions for me in that kind of tired, slumped out state are that I didn't eat. Right. Whereas for other people getting angry, it might be because they didn't eat. Right. So our conditions, what are our conditions that are producing our present moment? Okay. What are the conditions that caused you all to show up here? Right. Maybe it's that you wanted to your mind. Maybe it's that you needed a little bit of wisdom in your life. You needed to hear these words spoken in a way that might be helpful to understand them. Maybe it's that you needed to save your family. Whatever it is, like you showed up here for reasons, and those conditions are unique to your mind. Okay. So what does rest do, right? It removes those conditions. It kind of says, puts a stop sign up and says, you know what? We're just not going to react, respond to anything right now. We're just going to come back to the present moment. We're going to be present. Okay. So this can feel like removing constant stimulation. A condition might be pressure and urgency. It might be habit, repetition. It might be continuous input from around you. You know, like if you're anything like me and maybe when you were a kid, you really enjoyed going to theme parks, but now that you're an adult, you're like, this is like hell on earth. Being surrounded by that many people, like way too overstimulating. You know, for me, rest would be like, no, you can go and do those things. I'm good. Not for me. Rest is my way of saying I am not at a place where I can hold capacity for that, okay, or hold space for that. So rest supports restraint, okay, knowing when not to speak, knowing when not to act, and knowing when not to reinforce when identity wants to take over. Well, I know better than you, right? Well, my way is the better way, like when you're decorating the Christmas tree. And you've got a 3 and a 5-year-old who can only literally like go around the bottom. And then they get really upset when you try to move the ornament. Right? So like rest supports understanding that it can be okay to live in a world where things aren't the way you want them to be, right? If we think about the 3 things that the Buddha taught, which is where our suffering can stem from, which is misunderstanding where our attachments are, or misunderstanding attachment, misunderstanding aversion, and misunderstanding itself, right? So often we have these attachments, as they're frequently called, or maybe it's like our control, things need to go one way, and if they don't, then the whole world's going to go to shit. Sorry, excuse me. Pardon me, it should go to poop. Or maybe it's the other way around. You're avoiding it. You're like, I just don't want to deal with this right now. I don't want to. I don't want to feel it. I just want to like I can't even. I got so many projects like that have gone on this fall where I'm like, I can't right now. I just can't. I can't, even though I could, you know, and then it's like I sit there and I'm scrolling and I'm like, I could be doing that thing, you know, and I'm like, yeah, later. And somewhere in my mind, it's like, no, just keep scrolling, you know? So like we have to be able to take a minute to just like stop, hold the phone, okay? And give ourselves the opportunity to rest. In the tradition that I study in, we have something called circle days. And circle days are where you intentionally say, I'm going to turn my phone off. I'm going to get my journal out. I'm going to lock myself away in my house. And if you live with other people, maybe it's in a room. And for anywhere between 6 and 12 hours, you only spend time with your mind. It's like a little miniature retreat, like solo retreat for yourself. And so you take this time to maybe sit with a piece of sutra, or maybe you're sitting with a teaching that's been given to you by your teacher, or you're just sitting with your mind. Maybe you're practicing shamatha, or you're practicing something that you've been working with. And you just journal, and you sit, and you make tea, and you eat nourishing things. And maybe you don't speak because you're learning how to restrain that speech, okay? And you just take time for yourself. And you can even do that for just 1 hour. And I know if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, but that's a whole hour I could be doing things with, right? And that's the habit that we're trying to break, is that mind that's constantly moving, okay? So have you ever heard of the saying that like some species of shark, like they have to keep swimming or else they'll die, right? And often it's equated to like high-end businessmen or people who just don't know how to stop, right? And then I'm like, oh, I'm not a businessman, but I don't know how to stop, right? Maybe it's me, right? And it usually is this quiet voice underneath that's saying, if I'm not doing enough, then I must not be good enough, okay? And it's being able to sit with that and acknowledge, is that really true? Or is this just a story that I've decided to tell myself? And so those of us who feel like our worth is tied to how much we can accomplish, like in our work life, our family life, our service life, For me, it has a lot to do with service, how much I want to give myself in service to others, to my teacher, to my Sangha, to anything I can do to help other people hear these teachings. Sometimes that too can be destructive, right? Sometimes that too, we need to be able to step back and go, I can't serve from an empty cup. And so over time, these patterns become embedded in our nervous system. Stopping can actually feel kind of dangerous, right? And are there any shark people in here? Where are my shark people at? I'm a shark person. Yeah. Maybe some of us are like, I don't want to admit that I'm a shark person, right? So from a Dharma lens, these points speak about 3 areas in the 12 links of dependent origination, right? You have craving, which is like staying busy to avoid discomfort. You have becoming, needing to be someone or do something, and misunderstanding, mistaking movement for safety or validation. And so on the surface, it can feel like purpose, but underneath there is exhaustion, right? It's this quiet expectation of return, but that never comes, right? You just keep giving and giving and giving and giving until all of a sudden you're burnt out and you're spread out on the floor like, I don't want to do anything. And then you can't serve, right? And so I want to give you a simple tool that can help you in those present moments, okay? And this is short, literally only takes like 2 minutes. But I'm going to talk a little bit about why it works, okay? But first we'll go through it. So this is called, I call this like the nothing is required pause. Nothing is required. 3 simple words. Nothing is required, okay? First, just stop what you're doing. Just literally stop what you're doing. Put the pencil down, push the keyboard away, put the knife down if you're getting a meal ready. If things are just like loud, just stop what you're doing, okay? And then let your hands rest in some neutral position, okay? It can be on your lap. You could be holding them together, wherever it is. Just stop your hands from moving, okay? And then silently say, nothing is required of me right now. Nothing is required of me right now. And then take a mindful breath, or maybe 3 if you really need it, or 10. You get to decide when you stop. And then just stay with the present moment as long as possible. It's literally just 5 steps. Stop what you're doing. Rest your hands. Silently say, nothing is required of me right now. Take some mindful breaths. And stay with the present moment as long as you need to. And I want to talk about why those 5 things work, okay? Because this isn't just me giving you a series of instructions and being like, yes, this will solve all your problems, right? And it won't, but it at least will give you a moment to break the habit, to stop engaging, okay? So stopping what you're doing, this interrupts our mind's default task loop, okay? So we just constantly feel like we need to go, 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 go. We're interrupting that, okay? Neuroscience actually calls this a pattern interrupt, okay? It creates just enough space for regulation. Then you have your hands resting in a neutral position, and this one is key because you're actually pulling in a physical aspect of your body into what you're doing with your mind. And the brain learns through association. And I've learned this as a dance teacher. The more that we move our body in certain ways, the more we have something that's called muscle memory. Okay, so if we are engaging in that automatic, okay, hands down, neutral hands, calm hands, whatever you want to call them, okay, you're now associating that with rest, okay? Sensory input from the hands engages the somatosensory cortex, okay? This pulls the attention out of rumination and into the present moment sensation. So in simple terms, it's like the body remembers before the mind does, okay? And then silently saying, having some kind of words to go back to. And maybe it's not nothing is required of me right now. Maybe it's like, I don't need to do anything right now. Nobody actually needs me right now. Whatever those words are that help your mind say and give yourself permission to rest, Find that for you, right? And this one is important because often when we pause, our mind wants to push back. It might be like, but there's so many things I could be doing right now, right? And rather than arguing with the mind, this particular phrase, nothing is required of me right now, invites a different way of relating to that moment. And so this is where the practice of emptiness comes in, not as nothingness, but as this sense of openness. And we gently notice that there are many ways to be in the present moment, right? There's many ways that we can react to the driver who's like riding our bumper and then speeds past us with a bird. Okay. There's many ways to react to that. My sister used to say, I hope you win the lotto, which I always thought was kind of fun because she's like, did you know there's more chances that they'll get struck by lightning than win the lotto? And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's really just a devious thing. Got it. Okay. But maybe it is that and again, where's the intention? The intention is maybe seeing with compassion where that person is hurting and going, man, they really need to be somewhere right now. I usually like to think about like maybe they're rushing to help their parent that has fallen and can't get up, or maybe if they're late one more time to their job that they're going to get fired. And so their way of expressing that is, right? Just to find that moment of like coming down, just coming down. Yeah, I had an experience recently. I won't get into it, but maybe we can talk about it later. So there's the spirit of emptiness. And I have one of my parents is an emergency room doctor. And oftentimes when things in like competitive dance worlds, like everyone's all up in arms about things going crazy, like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Why isn't the schedule running on time? Blah, 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 blah. Like everything, must be the end of the world. And she's always looking around and she's like, is anybody dying? Like, why are we all freaking out? Is anybody dying? And I'm like, oh, Amy, good point. Yeah. Is anybody dying? No. Maybe we can like change how we respond to this, right? Because maybe when somebody is dying, it's a call for that kind of response. But if nobody's dying, like, can we just take a back seat, chill for a minute, right? And so I often ask myself that, is the urgency that I am feeling in my constant desire or inner urgency to continue serving others, is anybody actually dying? No. It brings me right back to the present moment. Can I take a moment to rest? Yeah. Is anybody dying? No. Yes, you can take a moment to rest, right? It's like one of those little like charts where the arrow's pointing, Can you rest? Is anybody dying? No. Then you can rest, right? So one mindful breath engages with the vagus system, and then staying present with the present moment. This respects our brain's tolerance. Okay. So sorry, I'm going back to those 5 steps. When we take that time to take a deep breath, we engage our vagus system, which encourages us to relax. Okay. And then staying with the present moment as long as it feels comfortable respects our own personal window for how much we need, or maybe what will fill our cup at that time, right? And so on this day, the winter solstice is part of our world. Our part of the world is conserving its energy, right? And Dharma invites us to do the same. Conserve it. Take care of yourself. Stop feeding what's harming you. Give your mind permission to settle. And trust that clarity does not need to be forced. And rest is not stepping away from what you're doing. It's giving you permission to experience it. Okay? It's giving you a permission to see it in a different way. Okay? And this is actually how we learn to see more clearly. So we're just going to do a quick little meditation. I'll guide you in this, so don't feel like your mind will start getting distracted and want to be busy again. So get comfortable. It'll be pretty short. Yeah, move your legs or move to a chair if you need to. Please stretch and find a place for your body to relax, because the intention of meditation isn't so we can sit there and be like, great, my leg's falling asleep again. Okay? It's really to forget about your body. It's like parking your body in a parking lot and then being able to go inside your mind. Like leave the body, go in the mind. Okay? And using the sound of the bell will allow that to encourage us to relax into our posture. Grounding into our seat, either feet on the floor if you're in a chair, or legs gently folded underneath you if you are sitting on a meditation cushion. Allowing the spine to pull up just a little bit straighter, head balancing at the top. This allows the body to feel at ease. Hands should be rested either in your lap or on your knees or on your legs, whatever's most comfortable for you. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow the shoulders to rest. Let the jaw soften. Maybe noticing the temperature of your breath just above your lip. Relaxing the area around the eyes and the eyebrows. And take about 5 more breaths to sweep the body gently, slowly of any tension that might still be hiding there. This is the last opportunity to adjust your posture, cough, sneeze, do whatever you need to do to get the noise out, because we want to get really still and we don't want to disturb the people next to us. Gently bring attention to your breath as it naturally flows in and out. We're not controlling it. You don't need to deepen it. You don't need to slow it down. Just notice that breathing is happening. Maybe each breath is an opportunity to let go of something. And just allowing it to peel away, fall away. Almost like dust settling at the bottom of a pond, allowing the mind to be clear, allowing us to observe it clearly. Now using an analytical reflection to go a little deeper and notice something about our habit mind. Gently bring to mind something that has felt repetitive or demanding recently. Gentle, nothing major. Just something that's familiar. Maybe this is a mental to-do list, or this feeling of being needed, or a habit of checking, or a habit of worrying. Notice how it continues and it has momentum. And see if you can recognize this quietly, that this experience depends on conditions. Conditions like urgency, pressure, habit, stimulation, identity. And without trying to fix anything, just gently ask, what conditions keep this experience going? And just notice, there's no need to find an answer here. Just notice what comes up. And so noticing those conditions, allow one of them to rest. It might be that sensation that something has to be done right now, or maybe it's urgency, or maybe it's the identity of the one who must be doing. Just let it rest and just simply stop feeding that condition. It's not about pushing it away, it's just about sitting with it. Notice what happens when the condition is not continued. Nothing needs to be forced or improved. And this is what the Buddha referred to when he said cessation. It's stopping fueling it. Now allow the reflection to rest. Let it go. Come back to the breath. Find an evenness in the mind. Just as in the Heart Sutra, there is nothing to attain, nothing to create, nothing to become. If thoughts appear, allow them to rise and dissolve on their own. You don't need to follow them, and you don't need to push them away, like leaves passing in a stream, or clouds passing through an open sky. Gently start to bring your mind back into your body. And if you wish, dedicate any clarity, dedicate this rest, or any understanding that may have arisen from this practice to the benefit of others. May our practice serve as an example to help teach others where suffering can come to an end. And gently starting to bring some movement into your fingers and your toes. Maybe a little bit of movement in the spine, and leaving the eyes the last thing to open. Welcome back. thank you all. We've got a few more things before closing. There was one more thing I forgot to mention that was kind of important that happened for me these last 3 months. I took the 142 Bodhisattva vows in the Tibetan Gelug tradition in the form of an action, which was pretty significant for me because I had waited 18 months. I had first taken them in the form of a wish, and now in the form of an action, I have to uphold them without breaking them, which can sometimes feel a little daunting with 142 of them. But it's really inspirational, and I'm really glad that I got to fly to New York and do that with my teacher in person. So just one more thing that I managed to shove into my life, right? So we've got some joys and concerns. I'd love to hear about I want you to celebrate, if you feel comfortable, what are you resting from? What did you take the opportunity to rest from this morning? Even if it's, something simple like, I don't know, resting from the work week, resting from knowing what's going to be coming up, resting because you didn't want to make breakfast this morning and left it to your partner. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear you celebrate that and rejoice in that, because I think it's important that we do that. Rejoice in your efforts. If you also have a concern that you'd like us to hold space for, this is also a time to do that.
Good morning. Your teachings today, thank you, first of all. And you definitely awakened some reflections. I was raised by a shark.
Me too.
An Irish woman, redheaded Irish woman, who was also suffering PTSD and other things so it was like constantly on the go. And entering my early 40s, I'm finally being treated for my own neurodivergencies so I can actually function like a semi-normal human being.
Less shark.
Yeah, less shark. Actually, the shark tendencies turned me into a sloth a lot of the time. So I kind of needed to find that balance. But what I was going to say is I'd come to this understanding that those chores, those things to do, will always be here. There's always going to be something to do, but we won't always be here. And we need to take that time we need to choose where we spend that time. Some things, you'll do it, but there's some things that are more important at that moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, and sometimes that's rest, right? We forget that. And that's the beauty of emptiness, is it teaches us that it doesn't have to be what we think it is, right? Thank you for that share.
Good morning, Sangha. My name's Brenda. I just want to say thank you for your teaching today. I have been struggling so hard with anger lately. And like you said, there just seems to be more ample opportunities to be angry. And that's my joy, your lesson today. My concern is that my son had a liver transplant last year. He now has to have a kidney transplant. So, he's very up about it. He's doing extremely well. He met someone who I think she's a nurse, urologist nurse. And I do expect them to be getting married this year. And so that is a real joy, because last year he was dying. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
What good karma.
My name is Lila, and I'm sure of a shark because I have dance on Mondays and Girl Scouts on Mondays, and I've been really busy lately, so I'm glad that the holidays are around and that I get a break from all of that.
Good. Take advantage of your rest.
I'm Taylor, Lila's mom, and we rested this morning by not making breakfast and getting it on the way so we could be here today. And I have a concern of my mother-in-law has a cancer diagnosis that was unexpected. So just to have good thoughts for her journey, and may it be a blessed outcome.
Do we have any online?
From Philip, we have, thank you so much, Igye. I am experiencing a lot of stillness and rest, forced by being deep in the jungle, literally. But even the jungle can't manage neurosis if I'm not willing to do the work.
All right, so we're going to take a moment to hold space for all of those joys and concerns. And if you can, take a moment to also consider what's happening outside of this room, what's happening in your community, and what's also happening across the world in places where others are experiencing their own suffering, whether it's in their head or whether it's in their physical world. And think about how your practice is what is going to benefit those people. And we bow. And lastly, I'll read our announcements, and then we will close up shop by chanting our gathas. So our online meditation group is taking a break on December 24th and December 21st. That's usually held on Wednesdays from 6 to 6:45 p.m. And it will start up again in January if you'd like to meditate with our group once a week. We have a Thursday Dharma discussion group. It's on Thursdays from 9:30 to 11. I don't know if they're taking any time off. They are taking time off. So check back in if you're interested in joining that group. Today we have the Grand Rapids board meeting, the Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple board meeting. It's from 11:30 to 1. Sangha members are invited to observe. And it's great if you do, because then you'll hear a little bit more about what's going on at the temple and kind of get clued in. We are holding a twilight holiday service. It's a Sojong fire puja that I'll be hosting. If you don't know about fire pujas, there's fire involved, which is the fun part. But also it gives you an opportunity to connect with the things that aren't working in your life right now. Like maybe you'd like to intentionally try to purify your anger, even just maybe 0.1%. And that's what we're working on doing, is identifying those parts of our suffering that is like holding us back from really experiencing our true potential. And then we're going to amplify something that we're doing really good at, like not reacting when your kid is screaming through the house. Right? Sorry, personal example. So please join us for that. We invite you to bring flowers, a dish to share afterwards. It's going to be very fun. Okay. Mostly fire, right? Then we also have our Bodhisattva training coming up. That's on the first month. And it's the first Saturday of each month. So it's once a month, and it starts on January 3rd and goes through August 2nd. It's kind of the second step. If you've taken the precepts, it's a good thing to go on and take. Now, these Bodhisattva precepts, there's 10 of them, right? Yeah, 10 of them. It's not the 12. So it's a little different than the Bodhisattva vows I just took, the 143. 42, excuse me. Not quite the same. These are just kind of like a little bit of a step up, something we would call the non-virtues, the 10 non-virtues in my tradition. We also have the Buddhist-based recovery meeting. It's on Mondays, 6:30 p.m. meditation, 7 p.m. meeting at the temple. Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. at the Alano Club. Fridays, 10:05 a.m. meditation, 10:30 a.m. meeting at the temple, or join via Zoom. And you can reach out to Reverend Drishan Su or Shane Weimer for that information. In January, we are holding a Heart Sutra study course. It's on Fridays. It's, I want to say, around like 6:30 to like 8. And we'll hold that for 4 weeks. I'm doing a deep dive from the Tibetan tradition using Choni Lama Drakpa Shedrup's commentary on the Heart Sutra that was written, about 250, 300 years ago. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what it actually means. So would love to see you there for that. We also have an intro to meditation from the Tibetan perspective on Saturday, January 17th, where you'll learn more about Master Kamalashila's 9 stages of meditation. So those are some interesting things we have coming up. All right, I think I covered everything. Let's do some gathas. And together we say, for all unskillful actions ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to enter. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. And then this one more closing bow. Thank you, everyone. If you could just arrange the cushions lightly, make sure you put things back you found them. And then I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, whatever it is that you're going to do. Thanks for being here.